Hello, welcome to this new moon in Aries video. I decided to connect with you all like this in a very kind of chill, relaxed setting. And I am still going to go over the presentation like I always do, where I create the presentations and go over all signs. But I wanted to connect with you visually as well because this new moon in Aries is very unique, very different, because it's not the only new moon in Aries we are going to have this year. We have another new moon in Aries, April 19th, which is going to be a solar eclipse. So it's very unique. And when I tapped into my intuition about all of this energy, one thing that really came up was um, the one thing my guides were really telling me was major endings and major beginnings. And where a lot of new moons have to do, well, all new moons have to do with endings and beginnings. This one is where my guide said it may feel. I wrote it down here. So if you see me looking at my notes, that's what I'm looking at. But my guide says, or my guides said that it may feel like the end, but it is only the beginning. And where I felt like a lot of people are going through that right now. We're feeling like this is the point of like major transition. And because this is the beginning of a brand new yearly astrological cycle, I always find the very first new moon, which is the new moon in Aries of the astrological cycle, is not more special, but it really sets the tone for the whole year until this time next year, spring, when the next astrological cycle begins. So this one's really unique and significant, and that's why I'm connecting with you all like this, because I really wanted to visually connect with you all so you can just see, you can pick up on energies a lot better in this way. And so yeah, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer. I'm also a Reiki practitioner, and I do a lot of other things. So on my channel, I talk a lot about astrology and spirituality. And in this video, we will be going over the new moon in Aries. And then I will be getting into, so at the beginning of the video, we will do a little overview. And then I will get into all 12 signs where this is showing up for all of you individually in all 12 signs. So let's start off talking about this kind of general energy of this new moon. I had already mentioned this is not the only new moon we will have in Aries. We will have another solar eclipse new moon in Aries, which will be at 29 degrees. So this new moon, I'm literally actually recording this a couple hours after the new moon because I was waiting for this like intuitive pull to do this. And then I really wanted to feel the energy before I started talking about it. And then I'm like, yes, I know what I have to give guidance on now. So this new moon is all about major endings, major beginnings, and especially when it has to do with the self, because Aries really represents our identity and the self and taking action. So I feel like this is like a point in time where we can almost really truly feel that there's an ending and a major beginning, whether it is reinventing ourselves in some way or something shifting in our life. We also have Pluto. Oh, sorry. We also have Pluto that will be entering Aquarius on the 23rd. This is another huge shift. And then at the same time, right now, we also have Venus conjunct the North Node. So this is a lot of like karmic, faded energy coming up and transformational energy coming up. The North Node, Venus being together with the North Node, is having us really wanting to get back into what we truly love, want, and desire, whether it's with ourselves or relationships. The North Node is a very karmic, faded energy, and the North Node is where we are the direction that we are going in this lifetime, there is the north node and the south node. So for those of you that are not aware of the nodes, the south node is the energy that we are used to. It's the energy we are the most comfortable in, whether we have been there in past lives or they're very karmic and faded. So the south node is very much an energy we're used to from past lives and where we feel comfortable. And the north node is the direction we are going in this lifetime, where we have decided the journey we want to take, that in this life, and it may be an on and off journey throughout our lifetime, but we will always be pulled in the direction of our north node, because that's why we're here, is to get to our north node in a sense. And it's not easy. And the north node is not comfortable because it is an area of our life that we're not used to. It's new to us. So, depending on where you have your nodes in your personal birth chart, can really help in your personal direction and journey and really understanding that. But as a collective, having the nodes in Scorpio and in Taurus, the South Node in Scorpio and the North Node in Taurus, this has been over the past year a real like getting to the bottom of things. Scorpio really gets to the bottom of things. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and also traditionally Mars, but Scorpio is really all about transformation, getting rid of what no longer serves us anymore. Taurus is like stability and comfort. So getting back to what makes us comfortable, what makes us feel secure and safe. So the nodes will be shifting signs in July, which is another thing that I wanted to know, because the new moon we have in Aries on April 19th, that will be the solar eclipse. This is setting the tone for that nodal shift, because that eclipse is going to be in Aries. So the nodes will be shifting signs, and watch because I will be posting a video all about that and how it will be affecting all 12 signs. However, the this on April 19th, this solar eclipse that we're going to have in Aries is really setting the tone for the nodes shifting in July. So these are things we want to be aware of. We want to see how this energy is coming in for us. We want to see how these changes are coming in for us. So I wanted to just note that because it's that the nodes shifting is another huge energetic shift. So another thing about this new moon is about Aries is all about taking action and initiating things. So I mentioned about how I felt like this new moon is almost having a lot of people feeling as if it's major endings and major beginnings. So I feel like a lot of people may be reaching a point in their lives where they're wanting to make a shift of some kind, whether it is reinventing yourself or starting to bring more things back into your life that you truly love and enjoy. Maybe something you lost touch with, maybe things you used to do that made you happy, or relationships, because Venus, being with the North Node, Venus is all about relationships too, that's influencing this new moon. So, another thing too I want to note is that the new moon is making a sextile to Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees. So it is an out of sign sextile. However, it's very influential because it's only a degree away, even though it's out of sign. And Pluto will be moving into Aquarius, hitting that 0 degree point, which will then sextile that 0 degree point of the new moon. So, the best way to see how this is showing up for you is to see where you have all of this energy in your chart. Then you're able to see and know, the areas of life, themes, and topics that this energy may be showing up for you. So that's really the general energy of the new moon. Is just that I really feel like there's just major endings, major beginnings, and really having to do with the self, whether it's reinventing ourselves, getting back to what we truly love, or even reconnecting with relationships in some way, or like releasing what is no longer in alignment to get back to what is in alignment. So that download just came right now. So I wanted to throw that in there. And so let's get into I just want to make sure I covered all of my notes. And so let's get into the presentation. Okay, so let's get into all 12 signs. I have just created this presentation so that it's easier for you guys to scroll and kind of find your sign easier. But I wanted to start off by saying before we get into it, happy zodiacal new year to all of you. And make sure you listen to your rising sign because I will be these this is through rising sign. So when I say Aries rising, I am going through the houses. However, you can look at your sun sign and also your moon sign. Your moon sign will be a little bit more internalized and subjective. I always suggest listening to all three because you truly get a more holistic overview of the energy. So let's get right into it, starting with Aries, of course. And Aries, this is your new moon, which is very exciting. This is happening in your first house. So you are really feeling this energy where you want to reinvent yourself, start something new, start something fresh. This can have to do with new character, persona, personality, or even appearance or physical body. You may want to really initiate something at this time to make some physical changes in your physical reality. This is all about you. So, this is setting the tone. When we have the full moon 6 months from now, you can start seeing these manifestations when we have the full moon in Aries. But not only that, because this is the first new moon of the astrological year, this is a time where we can really set intentions for not just our monthly cycle and not just our 6 month cycle from new moon to full moon, but yearly cycle. So, whatever we start now, we can set intentions for what we want to accomplish within this month or the next 6 months at the full moon in Aries or over the next year. And for you, Aries, this really has to do with you, your physical appearance, your body, your character, your personality. You're really, really focusing and initiating and wanting to take action with something and some changes and transformation that has to do with you. So, happy new moon, Aries. And now Taurus. So, Taurus, you have this new moon happening in your 12th house. So, this can have you really wanting to start and initiate new spiritual practices or maybe taking time away because the 12th house really has to do with places that are hidden, our subconscious, spirituality. So, this can be a time, Taurus, where you may want to retreat away, have some alone time, or maybe you want to initiate a brand new spiritual practice that is going that you want to start this new year off with for the rest of the 12 for the remainder of the 12 months, this new yearly cycle. So that is really exciting. And also, I always know in these new and full moon videos that how I always work with the moon and where I find it most beneficial is whatever seeds or intentions I've planted at the new moon, when the full moon of that same sign comes about, I tend to really witness the manifestations of those intentions. So keep in mind that whatever intentions you're putting out there right now, that you can start seeing the manifestations or set it for 6 months from now when we get that full moon in Aries. Now, and Gemini. So, Gemini, you have this full moon happening in your 11th, or sorry, this new moon happening in your 11th house. So, Gemini, this can really have you wanting to initiate new humanitarian pursuits, maybe social groups, or getting out socially more, maybe starting something online, an online business. This can really have you wanting to initiate something along those lines. The 11th house is all about social groups. So, and friends. So, this can even have you wanting to start something new or a new venture with your friend. keep in mind that any intention that you really put out there right now, you can start to see the manifestations at the full moon in Aries 6 months from now. But because this is the first full moon or new moon of this zodiacal new year, we can set intentions not only for the monthly cycle and not only for the 6 month cycle, but for the yearly cycle. So this is a time where we really want to focus on what we want to create in these areas of life. And Cancer. So, Cancer, you have this new moon happening in your 10th house. So, this is all about your work, your career, your public reputation. You may be feeling like you really want to start something new with your career, maybe start a new job or initiate something new and different within the career or job you already have. There's a lot of focus and transition right now that has to do with work. So, keep in mind, and what I always say in these videos is that whatever seeds and intentions you plant at the new moon, you tend to see the manifestations at the full moon of that same sign 6 months later. But because this is the first new moon of the year, the zodiacal new year, you can not only plant intentions or set intentions for the monthly or 6 month cycle, but also the year. So this is a time where you're really focusing on setting intentions or creating or shifting or changing something within your work sector. And Leo, you have this new moon in your ninth house. So, Leo, this is the ninth house is all about travel, higher education, philosophy. So, you may be really diving into some philosophy right now, learning new things, or really wanting to maybe travel for the summertime. This is, or learning. This can be a time where maybe you are starting a new educational pursuit or higher education, maybe a new course or really setting intentions to learn more and maybe even diving. I keep getting this thing like diving into philosophy, like the philosopher king, because Leo's the king. So, like, there's like the philosopher king. I don't know. That just came to me. So, I'm just putting it out there. But, Leo, always remember that what I always say in these new moon, full moon videos is that whatever intentions you seed at the new moon, you tend to really be able to see those manifestations in physical reality by the time we have the full moon. So the full moon in Aries, which will be 6 months from now, that you may start to see those manifestations. So you can set intentions for the monthly cycle, the 6 month cycle, but also the yearly cycle, because this is the very first new moon of the astrological new year. Oh, and Virgo. So, Virgo, you have this new moon happening in your eighth house. The eighth house is all about other people's money, your partner's finances, psychological transformation. So, the eighth house, this can be a time where maybe your partner is starting some new financial pursuits, or maybe you are trying to get a loan or receive money from some type of outside resources. So, this can be a time where you're really trying to maybe either buy a home or get a loan for a business or something along those lines, and you're finally ready to take action and apply for that loan or whatever you've been sitting on the fence for applying for some type of loan. That's what's coming to me, is that you're finally going to want to take action and feel like you can truly take action to do so. So what I always say in these full moon new moon videos is that whatever intentions you seed at the new moon, you tend to see your physical manifestations at the time of the full moon 6 months later. And because this is the first new moon of the year, we can not only set intentions for our monthly cycle, 6 month cycle, but also our yearly cycle. So this is a time where you may really want to focus on partners' finances or something that has to do with receiving money from outside resources or even some type of psychological transformation. And Libra. Libra, you have this new moon in your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, close personal connections, even business partnerships. So, this new moon can really have you maybe wanting to get close and personal with your partner. Maybe you've been feeling a little disconnected and now you really want to initiate something new into the relationship. Or this can also, maybe you haven't had a relationship in a long time and you're finally ready. You're finally ready to move on, find something new. Maybe you feel like you've healed, something along those lines. There's something new and shifting when it comes to your close personal relationships. Now, I always like to say in these new moon, full moon videos is that whatever intentions you plant at or seed at the time of the new moon, you tend to see the physical manifestations at the time of the full moon in Aries or whatever sign it is at the time. And because this is the first new moon of our zodiacal new year, we can also set intentions for the year. So just keep that in mind. But Libra, this new moon is really having you think about all of your close personal connections and relationships and initiating something new or starting something new or finally feeling like you're ready to start something new. And Scorpio, you have this new moon happening in your sixth house. And the sixth house is all about health, work, daily routine. This new moon can really have you wanting to initiate a new routine or health regimen. Did I say that right? I can't even pronounce that word right now. Health regimen. Am I saying that right? I don't know. Sorry. But you know what I mean. A new health routine into your daily life. So you may be thinking more about your health, wanting to start something new or even work. Maybe you're switching up your work routine. Maybe you've been just sick of the same day-to-day life routine and you're just ready to switch it up, ready to initiate and take action and really implement something new into that routine. And like I always say in these videos, whatever you seed or whatever intentions you put out at the time of the new moon, you tend to see your physical manifestations at the time of the full moon. So, and because this is the first new moon of the zodiacal new year, we can set intentions also for the years, for the entire year. So, not just the month or the 6 month cycle, but the yearly cycle as well, Scorpio. And Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius, you have this new moon happening in your fifth house, which is nice because the fifth house is all about play, hobbies, creativity, children, passion, pleasure, everything you truly love in life and enjoy. So, this is when you really want to get back to what you truly love. This is a time where you're focusing on maybe getting back into your hobbies, starting a new hobby, or passion, and pleasure, getting back into those things that you truly love, initiating and taking action into something new. You're finally ready to start maybe getting back into maybe you used to, take dancing classes or knit or crochet, and you haven't for a while, and now you're finally getting back into it. And this is really going to have you wanting to. So, also, Sagittarius, I always like to mention that on these new moon and full moon videos, whatever intentions that you put out at the time of the new moon, you tend to see the physical manifestations at the time of the full moon in that same sign. And because this is the first new moon of the zodiacal new year, this is also a perfect time to set intentions for the yearly cycle as well. So I really hope that you enjoy your new moon, Sagittarius. In Capricorn. Capricorn, you have this new, excuse me, you have this new moon happening in your fourth house of home, family, property. So this can be a time where maybe you're thinking of moving. Maybe you've been sitting on the fence, not sure if you should take action. This energy is really going to have you wanting to take action. So if you have been thinking about moving, there's something in the air where you're like, okay, I feel like now is the time. And you're really going to start focusing on that and putting your energy in that. Or even if it has to do with renovations around the house, something that has to do with home, family, property. That is where this new moon is really focusing on. And also, Capricorn, I always like to say in these videos that whatever intentions you plant at the time of the new moon, you tend to see physical manifestations at the time of the full moon in the same sign. Because this is the first new moon of this zodiacal new year, we can set yearly intentions as well. So there's monthly cycles, 6 month cycles, and yearly cycles. And I always like to put that out there because I'm not sure if a lot of people realize that at the time of the new moon, they may set intentions and it really comes into our physical reality at the time of that full moon. And so, yes, Capricorn, I really hope you enjoy this new moon. In Aquarius. So, Aquarius, you have this new moon in your third house. So, this can really have you wanting to get back into your community, neighbors. The third house also has to do with siblings and cousins, communication, or writing. So, this is a time where maybe you are initiating some type of communication venture or writing or journaling, doing something that has to do with speaking. This is a time where maybe you are initiating more time with your siblings or your siblings become more prominent in your life. You're really wanting to take action with, or maybe wanting to take action within your local community. The third house also represents vehicles as well. So this may be a time where you're wanting to purchase a new vehicle. I feel like that just came up, so I'm putting it out there. And also, Aquarius, I always like to mention in these new and full moon videos that whatever your intentions that you put out at the new moon, you tend to see your physical manifestations at the time of the full moon 6 months later. So, whatever intentions you put out now, you will start to see those physical manifestations, or they start to make sense at the time of the full moon in Aries 6 months later. And because this is the very first new moon of the zodiacal new year, we can set a year intention. So, something that we want to seed now to grow over the next 12 months. And Pisces. So, Pisces, you have this new moon happening in your second house of money, finances, material possessions. So, this can be a time where you're really focusing on your money, whether it has to do with making money, investing money, maybe your savings or material possessions in some way. This is where there's a focus or something new coming in that has to do with your material possessions, whether you are having to get rid of some things in order to bring something in. That's kind of what the download I'm receiving, that there may be a little bit of purging going on. So there may just be a lot of focus around that, just kind of getting rid of some stuff in order to let some new things in. Or you may even want to set intentions for some new pursuits in order to make money. So if you are like working online or something, you may be thinking about putting something out there or creating something that will end up being what's the word, you'll end up being able to make money off of it in the long term. And I also like to note that in these new moon full moon videos, I always like to mention that whatever intentions you put out at the time of the new moon, you tend to see the physical manifestations of it at the time of the full moon. And so also, and because it is the first new moon of the year, don't forget that you can set intentions for the yearly cycle as well, so that whatever you see now can grow over the next 12 months. So, Pisces, I really hope that you enjoy this new moon in Aries. And if you really resonate with my energy and connect, don't forget to subscribe and like. And also, if you want to see my daily content, I post daily on, I do energy updates, I do a whole ton of stuff on Instagram and also TikTok. Make sure you go and follow me. Instagram is at Adena, ADEANA .intuitive.astrologer, and TikTok is at Adena, ADEANA .astrologer. And if you want a personal rating from me, there's links in the description below. I have a sale on right now where I am actually offering, it's like a mini reading for $50. And what I do is give you a complete understanding of your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign placements, as well as any current energy or activations that are going on right now. And I have this sale on. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be doing it, but I'm doing it because I know how much people are struggling, and I really want this to be affordable for everyone. And so if I can help by just guiding people in a direction and just giving them some awareness of what's going on in their lives, I truly want to do that. So make sure you check out the link down there. I would love to connect with you, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me.